So welcome to my first thoughts on Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and it's developed by Sandfall Interactive and published by Kepler Interactive. And what this is, it's a turn-based role-playing game that's coming out for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Windows. And before I begin, I will ask you guys, are you excited about this game, Expedition 33? Has it been on your radar? Is this the first time you've heard about it? Let me know down below. And I want to say what led me to this game was the combat. I saw this at a Sony State of Play, and I was like, wait a second, what is this game? Like, look at this combat. And the combat was turn-based, and I'm like, this is everything that I kind of want in a role-playing game. This looks really like my type of thing. And then I completely forgot about this game. And then it was on my radar again when I saw another trailer online, and I'm like, I gotta play this game.
Let the ink flow. Brace yourselves.
So to start with, you can pick your difficulty level. There's Story, Expeditioner, and Expert. And to explain the game, I have to explain the story. And the story is a unique one. So it seems in this world, once a year, the paintress shows up and she paints a number on her monolith. And on that day, everyone who is past that age turns to smoke and fades away. So every year, the number comes down once again, and more people are erased from existence. And you start off playing as Gustav, and I don't want to ruin some story elements that happen right in the beginning, because I'll be honest with you, they were emotional. They were unexpectedly emotional for me. I was like, what is going on? But he joins Expedition 33. And this is the expedition that is looking for the paintress who paints these letters every year and is wiping everybody out. So your mission is to find her and kill her so she stops making people fade out of existence. So when the game begins, you set off to go and do this mission.
When you battle the paintress, know that Lumiere fights with you.
So as for the gameplay, there's a lot of different things you can do here. There's the exploration phase where you can just run around, you can speed run, you can jump, you can climb, you can grapple things, and that's a real lot of fun. I really love the little bit of style they show on there when you grapple onto something. And you can switch characters at any time. That does not affect combat, I want to say that. So if you are switched as a character, it doesn't change combat in any regard.
These blue trees.
And here is the selling point of the game for myself, is the turn-based combat. So you can use the battle wheel, and in that you can use attacks, standard attacks, skills, and items. And before combat even begins, you can sneak around and strike the enemy to get the first attack. And one thing with using skills or spells, it's all time-based. So if all of a sudden the X comes on the screen, you gotta press it multiple times to inflict the most amount of damage that you can. Also, there's a dodge and parry function in here. So as you're attacking the enemies that are attacking you, you can dodge or parry out of the way. And you can upgrade all your characters' skill sets.
Feel the burn.
So how are the graphics in this game? Do they stand out? Yes, they're very, very detailed. And when you're walking around, you're looking at this kind of like surreal world, and you're like, this is kind of like a European setting, but all of a sudden you're seeing rocks floating, and you're just looking around, kind of marveling at everything. And sometimes you feel like you're missing things, because sometimes you're running through a level really quickly, and I'll just have to stop and go, wait, I gotta look around, like look at this stuff. This is really amazing. And some of the cities they created, very, very detailed. I like all the character designs. I really like the costumes in this game. The one thing that really stands out, I mentioned it, is the combat, but apart from that, is just the monster designs alone. They're very, very imaginative and very, very creative. They kind of remind me of something like out of an 80s fantasy movie from back in the day. They're very, very dark, very surreal, and really, really cool. I love the designs in this game. And I want to say something. I'm going to say something very, very funny here. The main character of Gustav, I'm like, oh my God, it's Robert Pattinson. I don't care what anybody says. That's who this is. It looks exactly like that. I know they did not mean for him to look exactly like that, but my God, I was playing the beginning of this game. I'm like, this is Robert Pattinson. This is 100% who this is. And it was very, very funny, unintentionally. So it's not supposed to be him, but it was just something that really stood out to me when I was initially playing the game.
You don't need to... Okay.
You go.
No, you...
Now for sound and music, sound effects and combat, all that is perfect. I really like that stuff. The voices are good, well acted.
There's an excess of wine, again. Thank your sister for her generosity.
Oh, and try to enjoy yourself. Don't drink alone, you weirdo.
Yeah, right. Enjoy myself.
The music is a surrealness into itself, and sometimes it's just piano tracks playing. And it kind of creates this strange emotional link to the world and to the player. And there's some beautiful singing throughout this game that really highlight the hauntingness of the world setting.
Nice.
It will be blood of your life. Give up the night.
Now, here's where I get into my final thoughts, my thoughts on the entire game. There's a lot to talk about. What's going on here? I'll say this much. It was a lot more emotional than I thought it was going to be. I didn't expect it to be emotional. I was like, oh, cool. This amazing, kind of interesting RPG. I went in there, I started to play it, and I had this unexpected emotion from it. And it reminded me of a certain game. This game really reminds me of Lost Odyssey. For anybody who remembers that great game by Mistwalker. You know that kind of game that kind of came out, it was kind of on the side, but it was a really unique experience? That's what this is. It's a very unique experience. And I hope a lot of people do not miss this game, because it's not like, say, a mainstream RPG. But I'm telling you, what they're doing with the combat in here is better than a lot of mainstream RPGs, even made in Japan. And yes, they were influenced by Persona and Final Fantasy when they went to do this combat, but the combat is the best part of this game. I'm always excited when I get into combat. I'm like, yes, we're finally here again. And I love being in combat. And I think it's just really, really fascinating. I love when you pull out your gun against flying enemies and you can take them out a lot easier because they're flying. I love the little details of things like that. And I love the very artsy nature of this game. Sometimes it takes its time and tells a story a little bit slower. And I kind of like that because it builds up and there's always usually a payoff to it. So you're not just sitting there going, oh, there's a lot of dialogue, okay. There's usually a reason why, and it takes its time. And I really enjoy that aspect of it.
This is great. Thank you.
And it really is a surreal, nightmare-fueled world that you're running around and you just feel unsettled. And I think you're supposed to in this game. You're supposed to feel unsettled. Things are a little bit surreal. I don't want to say any real spoilers to this game, but it gets kind of creepy. And there's some really creepy aspects to it. And the game opens up a lot more. In the beginning of the game, kind of linear where you can go. Eventually, it really opens up. and you're like, wow, okay, this is a lot bigger than I thought it would be. And yes, I want to say there are some graphical glitches here and there. They're nothing that will break the game, nothing in that regard, but sometimes I would notice a little bit of graphical glitching on sometimes faces here and there. I know this stuff will be patched, but the overall game plays extremely well. They were just little bits here and there, and not too often, but they were there.
Could use a drink.
And I also want to say, I know this is a small team of around 30 people that made this game. And I want to say this, when you're playing this game, you can feel the passion in here. You can feel the passion in the world design, in the storytelling, in the graphics. You can tell that the people who made this game really cared and they put their heart and soul into it. It's one of those things that you're playing it and you can't help but notice that. You're like, this team really cared about really delivering a great RPG. And they were really determined to make a great RPG. And in time, people will make up their own minds if this is a great RPG or a mediocre RPG. I think this is a very unique RPG, and because it's not just a JRPG from Japan, this has a distinctly European kind of feeling to it, and it's really unique. The storyline, the music, it all kind of comes together in this really unusual way, and it's kind of a fascinating, dreamlike game. And it's one of these games that I really hope finds a big audience, because I think in a lot of ways it definitely deserves it.
Let the ink flow. Brace yourselves.
But I'm looking forward to jumping back in and getting into that combat and to find out what's really going on with the unique story in here and where it's gonna go. I'm really, really curious. So I'll ask you guys, are you looking forward to Clair Obscur Expedition 33? Is it a game that's on your radar? Have you been watching it since they first showed it? Or are you just first finding out about it now? Is it a game that you're interested in? Or are you like, no, I don't think this is for me? Or, oh my god, this game is so surreal and strange, I have to play it right now. Let me know down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.